A clash between the government and the rail union has crippled the train network, leaving commuters caught on platforms across Sydney. Many were heading to university for the first time this year or returning to the office after working from home. The government alleges the move was intentional, but the union says staff were ready to work, but they were locked out by the Transport Department. Reporter Cayman Gock is at Central Station. Cayman, are the trains running yet?
No, it's very quiet here, Juanita, and right now there is no indication that the trains will run tomorrow either. The state government and the union have been at loggerheads all day at the Fair Work Commission, but that has now been adjourned until Wednesday, and so far there is no solution. Transport New South Wales says it will work tirelessly into the night to hopefully come up with a plan, but is warning people to avoid the rail network in the coming days. There is more industrial action planned over the coming fortnight, but the union says that would never have affected commuters if Transport New South Wales didn't shut down the network.
Every single train across the Sydney network parked with no one on board. And at every single station, there was confusion and stranded commuters.
So I'm stuck here with no money, nothing.
It's so inconvenient because I don't know how to get there and I have to keep asking people.
People learnt the news at the platforms.
You may have to look at catching a bus.
I need to make lots of phone calls now. Thank you.
Students couldn't get to class.
I wasn't able to make it to TAFE today. Yeah, it was really so stressful.
Nurses couldn't get to hospitals.
No public transport. I don't know what's going on.
Plans for the day were thrown out the window.
I planned on going to Nara because I'm babysitting a cat and a dog that have got leukemia.
City-bound traffic barely moved. Ubers cost a fortune, and it was bedlam at bus bays.
It's a bloody hassle. There's not even anyone here to tell us what buses to get on.
The union says it had planned for low-level industrial action today, but negotiations over the weekend quickly derailed, and the finger-pointing is coming from both sides.
What we've seen today is nothing short of industrial bastardry.
The government has just done the most low and dastardly thing that you could ever imagine a government doing. They've locked out their workforce and they've inconvenienced the people in New South Wales.
By 2 a.m, Transport for New South Wales shut down the entire Sydney network, stating it was unsafe to operate due to that industrial action.
Well, all I know about the unions today is in my home city of Sydney, they've shut down the city with a massive big strike.
We are not on strike. All of the people behind me, all the people sitting in the meal rooms all across the network are ready to work.
2,500 services off the grid because the parties couldn't agree on a roster.
We would risk trains being stranded across the network, trains being delayed for hours and hours, and customers being stranded across the network.
The decision was made by Sydney Trains because of the lack of agreement.
Staff waited for news while the union and government faced off at the Fair Work Commission.
It's beyond heartbreaking that we're being blamed for something that was completely beyond our control.
The two sides continue to fight over a new enterprise agreement.
People that are on over $100,000 a year, who one of their claims is that they want a bonus just for doing overtime. As
negotiations continue, hundreds of thousands of commuters are left to deal with the train wreck that follows. Cayman Gock, ABC News, Sydney.
State political reporter Ashley Raper is live for us on Macquarie Street. Ashley, the government and the union are blaming each other. Who do we believe?
There's been lots of finger pointing, Juanita, but the fact is it was the government which took the extraordinary step of shutting down the train network. Yes, there was planned industrial action by the union, which would have caused disruptions, but it wasn't a widespread walk-off-the-job strike situation. So it's unclear why the Premier chose to pick this fight unexpectedly at the 11th hour. The case Dominic Perrottet has tried to prosecute was that it was going to be unsafe for the trains to run. But when pressed, he couldn't quite articulate exactly what those safety concerns were. Well, late today we learned from the Sydney Trains boss he was concerned that the industrial action would strand passengers. It is still a huge gamble for the Premier, Juanita, to be so aggressive and inflammatory to the union movement and inconvenience thousands of commuters in the process.
Ashley Raper reporting there.